But have a look at race 2. We got our first winner in race 2. Grand Pope, as you can see, 752. We certainly got it matched. Dioria, we got it matched. It's these big prices. We didn't have the emergency run never came into the equation. Mr. Vista obviously got matched, and that was a mistake there. So I corrected that. That was $6.60, and most of you should have worked it out. It should have been $6.60. And if you ever see something like this, it's just a typo error in the system, and that's just me not putting a decimal point in the right spot. But that was our first win of the night, and then we move on to race 3. And again, these runners here. Again, I'll stress. See this? We had it rated at 419. You can see here 390. They're not the runners that we're after. They're really not. But obviously we beat the short price favourite. So this was just a minor collect, but it was still a decent collect because all these other runners here are well above price, and that's what we want. To be honest, we want to see these runners win. We're not really interested in this runner winning. It happened to win. We move on to the next race. Race 4. Again, this is where I'm just going to go over this race and then I'll move on. We all know what we did at Pakenham. This is classic, the Syndicate betting. This is what we want. This is the best scenario for a race. I mean, look, we had race 4. We had number 1. It was matched. Number 4, Magnus below. When you see that, the more they blow, the more you load. Okay, remember that. Don't be frightened of this. If this thing was rated at 585 and it's now 20-1, that is the perfect scenario for us. Remember, we do the opposite. We're not here to back favourites. Okay, we're not interested in this. Look, we had Glitzy Girl was an emergency runner. We didn't have to include it, but that is the best scenario that you want to see. You want to see that. Okay, especially at these tracks. And then, that was a massive fill-up. When you got a horse rated at 585 and you're getting 19-1 on Betfair, obviously less the commission, but you're getting 19, and this is what I say to everybody, shop around. Betfair is not always the greatest thing because you got to remember, you got to take commission out of that. I mean, there was 15, 16, 17-1 across there was 17-1 there. All right, there was 18-1, there was 19-1 all across the board. That is the best scenario that you want. All right, and then we obviously got the next winner after that. It wasn't a big fill up. No, sorry, that was a pass race because two runners didn't get matched. We're not interested in that. And then obviously we got the. This was a nice pickup race. You could see it's a big pot. Where is it? Sorry, I'm just getting ahead of myself over here. It was race 6. Now look at this, Mississippi. All right. This is what we want. We want to see these runners. Just look at that price, and $11.07, and look at those prices. That's what we want to see, members. We want to see that. Okay. Now the pot was 67%, but okay, have a look at all the other runners. Our top rated runner was $3.92. It was $5. Key to the Mac, okay, rated at $7. It was $11. So if you were doing a live pot. If you were doing a live pot, a live running pot, and you were to enter these prices that you're seeing, that pot ain't 67%. So that's the minimum pot that we want. It's well over it, and that's another great example. And again, it was a fantastic night. There's your 20 units, whatever we won that night. It was just an outstanding night. Okay, and that's what we're after all the time. All right, and then this is for the international package again on the Saturday. We started again on the Saturday. Okay, we had some really good wins early, and then what I'll do with some of these tracks, I know down the track that the deeper the races go, all right, it's going to be a little bit harder, and that's why you'll see me. I'll abort a meeting because my theory is we've won early. I think that the meeting is going to get harder, and this is the beauty of having me monitoring the sheets, because I look at these numbers all the time, and I know that sometimes you can't be betting on every race, and that's why I do press. And and I get it right more often than we get it wrong, because when I do a board, sometimes I get it wrong, and you might get some winners here and there. But all in all, I've done the data, members, and a boarding when we were ahead, it works out pretty well. So I'm happy with what happened there yesterday. We won, I think, about 7 or 8 units or 9 units before I pulled up stumps, and it was a great pick up for New Zealand. There was another track that I did in New Zealand. We had a couple of bets, and then we got rid of it, and that's that. Now for the international guys, I want to quickly go over Kenilworth. It's dead. It's buried. I've tried it. It's been now running now for 5 or 6 months. The track is no good. We end it. See you later. Okay. But as again for the Australian members out there, the New Zealand stuff is actually doing really, really well at the moment. It's flying. Okay. The South African stuff last week wasn't the best. We had probably a break-even week, but the South African stuff is still through the roof. It really is. It's probably the best place to be betting at night. If you're busy during the day and you can't bet during the day, go over to South Africa and have a good look at it, because it really is flying. Again, like, we didn't have the world's greatest night last night, but that was my pig-headedness. I continue to bet on a track that I know that doesn't do too well. Game over. All right. Let's quickly look at Caulfield yesterday. Caulfield was another outstanding day.
Okay. What was so good about it? Which races?
I'm just quickly bringing it up. We had a great day there yesterday. We won, I think, 12, 13 units. So, sorry guys, I'm just a bit slow here with, here we go. Dynamic odds just changed a little bit. So we have a look at the Caulfield meeting yesterday. And again, these summer tracks, when they're on with us over here, we can pick up some big, fast units. And what happened yesterday at Caulfield was a classic example of the damage we can do when we do get some nice early wins, and then we had a great roll on from there. But I'll go over the sheet quickly. Okay, now with race 1, we had Miss Divine M. Now you could see here, this runner never hit price, but look at the pot. Okay, the pot was 68%. Classic drop it. We don't want it to win. Okay, we do not want it to win. Then we had Sensationalism, whatever its name was. Okay, it was the emergency. It couldn't be added. So that what we did then was the classic scenario of, it's what I call the king theory. All right. Again, not many people do this. It's what my theory is. We were going to outlay had that thing hit $6 or $5.89, we were willing to outlay the 3 units anyway. All right. The whole thing is to try to get the big overlays. Now this wasn't an overlay. Now if that pot was, say, 100% and there was 460, 480, okay, we take it, no problem. But the pot was 68%. We're doing a live pot, and again, if this thing was 440, 450, never hit price. So just drop it, and if it wins, bad luck. Don't worry about it. All right. So we loaded up on the 2, the 4, and the 5. Presto, we've got a big fill up. That's what we're after. Just because there's 3 or 4 runners on the sheet, ideally you only want to be back in 3 runners. Ideally you only want to be back in 2 or 3. That's it. Rarely will you be back 2, but the whole thing of 4 runners, we don't want to be back in 4 runners. I don't want to be back in 4 runners. Okay, and I'm going to show an example of what happened when we do back several. We had something at Cairns yesterday. Race 2. Okay, it was a lost race. All right, the favourite one. Big deal. Let's move on. I'm not after him. I mean, I think we got 3rd or something like that. Who cares? We don't worry about it. All right, and then we go to race 3. And again, we have another situation here. All right, where we have a pot of 83%. Now, upswing hit price, right? And also, I'm sure that there was a late scratching in that good and proper, so we had to take sort of a price reduction. Now, upswing hit price, we backed it, no drama. Huntley Castle hit price, no drama. Now, War Critic, we had it rated at 705. Okay, now you could have got $6.50 for it, which is what I took. I took $6.50 for it. There was $7 for it. With sometimes you can get some corps that, you know, there's certain corps that I will bet with. Some of them I can only get on at $6.50 because they actually knocked me back. Okay, so that's why sometimes we're going to have difference in prices. But there was $7 there, so it was definitely matched. Okay, and then we had the 13. Right, and it got matched. Happy days. Let's move on. All right, we had it was too late to drop a runner. We got another winner there. That's the outcome. I mean, it wasn't the best fill up, but it was a win. All right, you're still picking up your maybe 2.5 units on that particular race. All right. Obviously this race was the moral of the day. Who cares? We move on. I'm not interested in these runners at all. Zero interest for me. Now, this was a great race for us here. This is what we want. Have a look at this. We had the 1, the 2. Sorry, the 1 was a sub runner. We had the 2, the 4, and the 5. I mean, if anyone out there wants to start telling me that you should be backing firmers in the market, well, I've just given you 3 examples so far of big horses that blow that still win. I'm not saying that firmers in the market don't win, but you don't want them. You want these ones. All right. Now, Victoria is a unique place, and I want everybody to remember this. Don't be frightened of blowers. In Sydney on the Saturday, if there is a horse that's a big blower, it's game over. It's going to lose. All right. The data and analysis that I've had over the last 5-6 years tells us that you're going to be wary of big blowers in Sydney on a Saturday. Okay. It's really important. On a Saturday, it's not that critical in Victoria. Blowers do lose, but a lot of them also do win. And this was a great example of that. Okay, now this runner here, it opened up $5, $4.50 on a Wednesday, whenever it opened up, and it blew out to $10, $9 with most of the corps. That is the greatest scenario. That is what we're after. Look at that pot, 87%. Perfect. It's what we're looking for all the time. Don and I, when we were actually betting, this is the outcome that we are looking for. You know, we are not looking for these runners here. Like, do you think it doesn't interest us to be back in the 1? You know, they're just saver bets. That's all they'll ever be. They're just saver bets.
And like, look at that in a 5-horse race.
I mean, 5-horse race, and you're getting $10 for a horse rated at $4. It's outstanding. It is outstanding. And this is where you've got to have the nerve. This is where you've got to have the mindset to say, you know what? We have put this runner on the sheet. It's rated at $4. It's blown out to $8. Most punters get shy of that. Don't be, and I say this all the time, don't let price worry you. Now, when I say that, I don't want you to think, oh, well, of course it's all price dependent. But don't be afraid of price. Most people feel confident in knowing, oh, good, I'm backing a $4 runner. Oh, that's comforting. No, it's not. We do the opposite, members.
It's brainwashing.
That's right. We do the opposite. Okay? Don't feel comforted because your horse has been backed in. That's the trick. All right? If your horse is... You know, when I see my runners get backed in, my heart sinks. I was like, oh, no. I don't want that. I don't like it. All right? It's not a good scenario for us. All right? Now, race 6... You know, the winners just kept rolling in. I mean, it was just outstanding. It really was. You know, and I was getting messages all day, and everyone was just like, this is just not going to stop. And sometimes it just doesn't stop. They just keep coming. And they will keep coming. But you've just got to not worry about it so much. You can't be sitting there all day. Now, this was another scenario where we might have had to take a little bit of a price drop. But I took $6.50 for Ginger Jones. All right, but the price was there. You know, we had an 80% pot. We got price on number 4 easily. Number 4 that was well and truly. Where was number 4? Montego Man. Yep, it was matched. Number 3. That 3 was the emergency. Sorry. The 4. I'm just having a look what happened with the 4. Yeah, the 4 was obviously matched. The 6. The 3 was the actual. Subrunner. The 6 we had Paperboy. That was clearly matched. Okay, and then we had the 9 and the 11. All right. Now the 11, okay, I took $6 for it. There was $6 around. See, there you go. Okay, so there was $6 for it. It wasn't a big fill-up race, but it was, again, a couple of units to pick up on top of the bigger units that we've already picked up. Now this was a race where I think the favourite beat us, so big deal. I saw it. We don't care about it. Let them win without our money. All right, and then race 8, I think it was another loss. I know race 8 was a pass. I think 2 runners weren't matched. End of discussion. Now race 9, we were very stiff. Okay, but again, members, forget about that. We were stiff. We should, it was a dead heat. Whatever happened, it happened. Okay, but have a look at. We had the winner rated at $8.36. Look at that. It's gone from $8. It blew out to $17 on the fair. All right, and we got $15, 6 to 18 to 1. Shop around, open up multiple accounts, please. It's important because you think, oh well, it's not much, but it all adds up. The most astute guys out there have got multiple accounts. It's a full-time job for me and for Danielle. Okay, this is what we do all day, pretty much all day. We're shopping around for prices to make sure that we get the maximum profits out of this. All right, it is very hard to win money. And to think that, oh, well, I'll just bet with Betfair, I'll just bet with a few corps. If you're betting with a few corps, you're never going to win. Because once they get sniff of what you're doing, they'll just shut you down. Then where are you going to go? And when you are betting, okay, don't be silly and put all your bets on the one corporate. Spread them around. You have to do that. All right, and that was another outstanding day. So we've had a great day, a great Friday. We're going into the weekend, okay. Rosehill, we all saw what happened at Rosehill. That was just the best hit and miss I've ever seen. Now, thankfully for us, okay, what happened there is that, I mean, check this out. Look at this thing. We got it rated at $18.21. I mean, have a look. We got $31. This thing was actually $61. I mean, it was $61. Where was it? It was in the morning. It was $61, $51, and then here you got $34 on the exchange. And look at this. Yeah, it was $41 at one point. So that was just outstanding. And the moment I saw that this track was a soft 7, see you later. So that's a good hit and miss. And I know that we won a few races afterwards. I know that the sheet did get a lot of winners afterwards, but who cares? All in all, long term for us, we don't want to be betting on these soft 7 tracks. Okay? Who cares? All right, but that's what I want to say. I want to say these hit and miss sheets, and then we get out of there. We don't have to bet every race. And these highway races have been pretty kind to us. So I was really, really, really pleased with that. Right. Now let's look at Cairns. Now you're going to ask yourself, what in God's name would I have gone to Cairns for? Well, the reason why I went to Cairns is because, again, I keep saying to everybody, and Don knows this, and everyone here at Winning Edge knows this, I follow the data. All right. Now the data told me that even though the reading, all right, this is the beauty of this, without giving too much of my little edge and my secret, basically the data told me this track was not going to be operating or running on a heavy. Okay, I knew that because the data was telling me this, despite the reading, and they get it wrong all the time. All right, they might post a heavy 10, all right, but I work with a system that tells me no, it's not a heavy 10. It probably was a soft 5 or a soft. Now I know that the times would suggest that it was a heavy 10. I don't care. Hence why I said we're going to be betting in Cairns. Now you saw what happened yesterday. It was just unbelievable. Race 1 we lost, and I thought, okay, well let's have a look at a few more races. Now this was a good example, all right, this was a little bit of luck our way, where we actually only had one runner. Now I'll tell you why we only had one runner. Number 1, we had it rated at 334. Well, it was dropped for starters. Well, it was an emergency. Chapel Road, we had it rated at 405. Okay, dropped. So we loaded it up. We loaded up units on Chapel Road and Lushan. Lo and behold, both of them were late scratchings. And this, my friends, is why I have emergency runners. Emergency runners are also for prices that I've got a horse that's a set price that I have on my end. And then when we go look at what the corps have got him, I still like that horse. And in case there are late scratchings or one of our runners gets backed in, because as again, we do the opposite, and then I will include the sub runner. Now, this was a great example of a complete load up on this race. All right, we had hard Jaeger, hard Jaeger. Now we had it rated at 444. We'd already dropped the Chapel Road. Okay, we couldn't back El Shady because it was an emergency runner. It didn't even get price, and then 2 and the 5 were both. So we were only left with one runner. So bingo, we just load up. End of discussion. Now we'd already loaded up on the fact that the 2 was what do you call it? We can't help it that it was scratched. So there ended up being a single runner. That doesn't happen that often, but look at the price that we got on it. For 1, 2, 3 horse field, we got $6. Oh, that's perfect. That's what we want. And that's why it was, it was a big filler. And then we go to race 3.
It's important to mention, though, that we didn't always have the emergency runner in there. It is something that has repeatedly happened, is that, there are late scratchings and there's,
yes, it came about because of the late scratching, because I noticed things that were happening a lot. There seemed to be a lot of horses that do get scratched at the barrier an hour before the race. So I've always got a runner there that it's on the fringe, what I call a fringe runner, that I didn't like its price in the morning. Again, I'm anticipating that one of our runners gets backed in heavily and this thing is a blower. That's what I'm waiting for. And again, we're late scratchings. Now, this was another really, really good race that, again, we got a really good fill up. We had to drop the 1. It was rated 550, dropped. Perfect, it's what we wanted. We couldn't back the sub runner. So basically, we were left with 3 runners. So we loaded the units off on number 1, and we loaded them up on the 3, the 4, and the 5. Now the 4, we had it rated at 778. Look at its price, members. It's just outstanding. It really is. All right, and then it was happy days. We're 2 from 3, and we've got big fill ups going on here. All right, and then again we go to race 4. Okay. And here we go again. We've got another runner here. We got the 4. We got it matched. We got the 6. We got it matched. We got the 7, and we had a big pot of 106%, and we got the winner. We got the winner at $9, rated at $7.15. Perfect. That's what we want. That is the outcome that I'm after. All right. And then I started seeing that the track started to deteriorate, and this is where the beauty of having myself and Don sitting here. I've got Don helping me all the time. I do a lot of clocking in between races. I'm looking at the data. Okay, Saturdays is chaotic here. It really is crazy over here. So sometimes it gets so overwhelming that I make calls that sometimes are not the right calls. But this was a great call, because then I aborted after I saw enough after race 5. I said, "See you later. We've won our money. Let's get the hell out of here." And it was a massive fill-up day there. So, again, sometimes I pull the right rein by saying we're going to be betting on this race. I mean, again, members, remember this. The last time I checked, the $100 bill's still the same at Cairns as it is at Flemington. Bookies still pay the same money. It's all the same.
And that's one of the things that's hard for people to get their head around at first, is that we aren't slaves to just the, sort of metropolitan races.
No.
Because
you don't need it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you can win money at, what's the difference? All right, and this is the trap that everybody falls into. They feel like I have to bet on the metro tracks. For me, as long as I can make money on any other track around Australia, I actually don't care. Now, this was unfortunate, this particular race. Again, like I said, it's very, very chaotic here at times, and I lose track of time. The fact that we're 1 hour behind everybody, New South Wales and Victoria. So I sent this sheet out, I think, with 2 minutes to go, and have a look at the first race. I mean, look at this. It would have been a right royal fill up, but unfortunately, I gave the sheet out too late. I then sent a pass, but look at that. I mean, the first favourite rolled at $1.50. It's just ridiculous prices. They really are ridiculous prices. Now, this thing here, we had it rated at $11.70, and there was $21 for it. If you'd been quick, you probably could have backed it. All right, I think I sent the sheet out with 2.5 to 3 minutes to go. But to be fair to everybody, I just sent pass through. You know, I think that's the fairest thing, especially when I'm strapped with time. You know, I've got New Zealand going, I've got Australian sheets flying out everywhere. So I apologise for that. So luckily, okay, you know, the day ended up being outstanding. Now I just want to quickly go over here. Sometimes you'll see this is starting to creep into the sheets a lot now. No, 2 is not a sub runner, despite runner in the sub box. If this runner hits beyond, so basically what I'm doing now is I'm putting it in these runners and I'm looking for them to actually blow, to get to a higher price. And a Coke kebab for me, I eat very expensive kebabs. So it's usually $20 or $25. You know what I mean? That's it. So that's what that means. And we had a big winner in Perth, I think a week ago, where this scenario came up and bang, we got the winner at like 50 to 1. All right, we move on to race 2, and then the winners just kept coming now. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Race 2, we had Simplify. We got everything was just humming along now. We had the 10 was dropped. Okay, we couldn't add the sub runner because we rated at 566. Beautiful fill up. You see the beauty of this thing about filling up. Look. Down here, we were going to outlay 2.76 units. Okay? Now, if all these had lined up, we were outlaying 2.76. So get your mind thinking, that's what you're going to outlay for that race. I've allocated 2.76 units. Who cares if your horse doesn't hit price? We don't want it to hit price. We want it to blow. Okay? And if a horse happens to get rolled in and it wins, bad luck. Cop the medicine, as I say all the time. But you can see the power of it. You can see why we make 25, 30 units. And the last time I checked, members, all right, 25 units is a lot of units to be winning in one day off one sheet, let alone off 3 or 4 other sheets. So this is the power of this. This is the beauty of what we're trying to do here. Admittedly, sometimes when we do favourites win, we have a bad day. But we get it back so fast. Please remember that. We get it back fast, and we get it back in big dosages. All right, we don't get it back. You know, we had today at Gatton, we lost 14, 15 units, but we had won 50, 35, 40 units in Queensland alone. Okay, we dropped 14 units today, and we were a bit stiff today at Gatton. We got 3 or 4 seconds, and the first 3 races we couldn't get price. We were beaten by favourites. We had them on the sheet. Bad luck. Take the medicine and get over it. That's what we got to do. All right. Race 3, it was a loss. We move on to the next race. Okay. Race 4. Thank you, Lord. This is another great scenario. All right. Here we go. We got a horse here rated at 1362. All right. Now this thing here, I'm sure. All right. It was another blower. Look at that. $28, $23, $26. Perfect. Have you seen a pattern, members? Am I showing you something that's starting to get your attention? We don't want horses coming into the market, please. All right? Keep this to yourself. This is analysis over the last 5, 6, 7. It's a myth. Again, I'm not saying horses that get rolling in the market. There are days during the week that you must pay attention to that. On a Saturday, I don't pay that much attention to it. I don't care. All right, and this is where you're going to get your big fill-up days. I mean, that is the best scenario of what's just happened here. All right, we had a beautiful pot of 122%. Magic. It's what we want. All right, we had jet ski. Do you think I wanted it to win? No, but we had the 7, the 8, and the 11, and the 11 wins at those prices. And when you got 0.37 units on a horse paying 28 to 1, happy days. Happy days. All right, and then we had. You know, and we've got another scenario here where we've got the next race where big deal. We got an 81% pot. We got Star of Michelin. You know, again, I took 440 for it. It was more of a save. What we wanted is the other ones to win. And again, we saw that the 7 was well overpriced. We saw that the 9 was well overpriced. There was nothing there to suggest that we couldn't take the 440. Matter of fact, you could have taken 390 for that, 380. All right? So it's okay because we've got an 81% pot. because you got to look at these runners, like in my last talk. All right, stick to the program, members. Stick to it. All right, we only had 4 picks here. The outcome, what we wanted was, we wanted either the 7, the 9, or the 10 to win. The 3-1, I took 440. Big deal. We move on to the next race. All right, and we go on to the next race. And again, another beautiful outcome here. All right, we've got they got the 1 matched. We've got the 2 matched. Again, the outcome that we wanted was either the 1, the 2, the 5, all right, and the 8. I didn't care about the 16. The 16 was a sub runner anyway. But again, look at the price of the 8. Okay, look at that succulent price. 16. You got a horse rated at $7.12.
It's not food.
Oh, it's like food to me, Danielle. It's like food. All right, members, you can hear it in our voices. We're very excited. All right, and I want you all to be excited, because you need to fill up on days like these. These are the days you get fat, and you get really fat, because we all know we didn't have the greatest week, but boy oh boy did we make up for it by the end of the week. I mean, the month of January was outstanding. It really was. All right, and it's really good for me to see that the Queensland is bounced back, because I thought the Magic Millions, we could have done a little bit better than we did at the Magic Millions. But hey, who cares? We got it all back with GST and triple GST. And then we go to race 7.
And I think that's the thing, is we don't just come out on any given day. It's every day, all day.
Yeah, non-stop. I keep going. Yeah. All right? I keep going.
Bit of overkill
sometimes a little bit, but I love this stuff. I really do. So again, we look at race 7. The winners just kept coming. I mean, it got to the point where it was just getting ridiculous. But again, I know what these sheets can do. I really do. And I stand by this. Everybody here at Winning Edge, all right, this never happened overnight. All right, we've been doing this for years. We've been tracking this stuff for years. The guys at Winning Edge, all of us, we've been looking at these sheets, and we know what we can do. Sometimes, it was to the point where this is too good to be true. It's not. It's not like we're doing anything but winning. We're winning. So embrace it, enjoy it, take it and run, and go out and spend money. Go out and buy things. Get that money out at the end of the week and spend it. It's what we're all here to do. You know what I mean? That's what we want. It's what we're all doing this for. We're all doing this to make money. And how much fun is it then when you got a horse rated at, I mean, look at this thing here. We got it rated at 603. We got 13 to 1. I mean, 13 to 1. Look at the pot. Now, you look at the pot. We look at number 3, 19 to 1. Perfect. I didn't finish anywhere. Who cares? Igor. All right? Igor. Can't help by saying that. Igor.
But we also don't say to go bigger on your bets. You can still stay very conservative.
It's 2.8 units. All right. Now look at this thing here. We got Igor. I've got to say it again. Igor. All right. Now way beyond. We had it rated at 603. We got 13 to 1. Happy days, members. Happy days. Perfect. See, people are confident in knowing that. Oh, look, number 9 divulged. Oh, criminal defence. Yeah, do you really want to be back in these runners? I certainly don't want to. And how much fun is it when you beat them and you roll them? I love it. You can hear it in my voice. Okay, and then obviously the last 2 races didn't go to expect. We were stiff in the last race, I can tell you that now. We were so stiff. But, it happens. Successful raid, job well done. Happy days, give yourselves a big clap. All right, and high five to everybody. All right, this was an outstanding sheet. And this is what we're here for. And this is what we are famous for. And this is what the Winning Edge Betting Syndicate, this is what we are all striving to do here. All right, and we go to Ascot yesterday. Okay, so it was another. I think it was we had a couple of really good early wins, and I think I bought it after that. But again, another sheet where we went out there. I think actually no, this sheet lost. Okay, now the reason why I'm going to bring up this sheet, all right, and I don't like bringing up losing sheets, but just want to go over a few things with this particular sheet. Okay, Race 1. Okay. What happened in this particular race? Hope You Dance. No, we didn't have it. Fair and square, lost. All right. There's a couple of races here that I thought that I needed to go over. All right. We got race 2. That was a big fill up. All right. I think what happened, there was a race that I want to. Okay. But have a look what's winning now. And this was why. That's why I want to talk about this sheet. Is that I sort of know when I think we might have to be like dip our toes in and have a look at the sheet, because I started seeing a lot of this. All right. Now we got the first race. I don't know what happened in the first race, but we got the second race. All right. Then the third race, a $2 winner, $1.85 winner. All right. And we're getting. It's not like we're we got second to $1.85 runner. You know what I mean? What was it? Race 4. That was. No, we got a third. But again, you can see the patterns here, and that's when I have to say to myself, okay, I think I might have to just say enough, bite the bullet, and just move on and don't worry about it. And that's what I saw yesterday. I saw a lot of this. I saw a lot of these runners here around here that were actually well rated on my end. Now I could see the numbers. All right, I can see the numbers, and that's why I thought, I better get out of this sheet. All right, and that's why I aborted. It wasn't good there yesterday. All right, you could see what was winning. It was pretty much there. I think there was one $11, $12 winner. That's it, and then the rest was pretty much how I thought the sheets would pan out. Okay, and this is what I do sometimes. I just know when I'm looking at these sheets and I'm doing the numbers that I just go, you know what, it's time to say pull out. Right, now we look at sale today. All right. Hang on 1 second. All right, we look at sale today. Okay, now we had a really good day there today. All right, now I want to apologise. There was some message that was sent late, but sometimes, members, it's out of my control. I try to send maybe 4 or 5 minutes out, but sometimes it just gets lost. I was really I didn't understand what was going on. It could be my internet. I don't know. We're still working on it. All right. And I do apologise for that. But the messages were actually sent actually quite early. And sometimes they were coming late, which much to my frustration. You know what I mean? But look, again, we started off with some really nice winners. All right. Now, again, I've gone over this before. I didn't see much of this today. There was only a few, but there were some races that I thought, you know what, this could be a nice sheet. And the key is the good fours. When these tracks are good fours, and I don't see a lot of these runners that are really short prices, then we take them on. We got the first runner up, okay. Race 2 was a pass. That was too many unknown runners, okay. And then we got race 3. I think that was a really big. Yes, I think race 3 wasn't a big fill up, but we beat obviously the $2.25 favourite, okay, and that's what we wanted, all right. And I think race 4 was the big fill up. Yes, it was, because, all right, why race 4 was the big fill up is because we only had 4 picks, okay. We had a horse rated at 617. The 7 was rated at 805, 480, drop him. We didn't have to include the sub runner because it was we had it rated at 351. So effectively, we only had 3 horses. So we had basically one unit on a horse rated at 617. And look at the price we got. There was 13 on the exchange, okay, and there was $11. There was actually $13 for this runner, 13 to 1 for a horse. There's like a 9-10 unit fill up there. Okay, now in race, I think we got race 5, we lost. And then I passed in race 6, and I passed in race 7. Okay, I actually passed in race 8, but I never came through, and I'll wear that. And obviously I passed in race 9. So again, members, you're seeing someone sitting here live. Like I said, Danielle and I over the weekend, we pretty much are sitting here live, tracking the markets. We've got your back on all of these things. And again, like I said before, We sometimes make the wrong calls where we might have bought on a winning meeting, but it happens. Overall, the long-term effect is that we still come ahead. We are way ahead. All right. So I think the last sheet, Murwillumbah, I didn't bother. Yes, no, Murwillumbah, it was another beautiful hit and run, because again we didn't have the track was a downgrade. But you saw what happened here, where we had a great scenario where again we saw that where we used our little golden rule where we drop runners. Okay, so we picked up 6 units just off one race, and then again the track got downgraded. All right, now in this particular race we had the 3, the 4, and the 6. Okay, 4 never hit price. I think we had a sub runner, whatever it was. The 4 was the sub runner. No, actually I think the 4, whatever it was, we dropped it. We had the 3 and the 6. Bingo. Look at, we had a horse rated at 563. We had 1.53 units on it, and we had 1.59 units on number 6, and they were both finishing first and they were down the straight, first and second. The track was downgraded. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. See you later. Beautiful fill up. All right. The winning just does not stop here, members. It does not stop here. All right. And then we got the first 2 winners up at Bunbury. Okay. And funny enough about this meeting, I didn't even know that it was abandoned, because I actually mute the TV. But I never listen to what they're saying. And I couldn't understand why race 4, I think it was an abandoned race. I just thought something would have happened. Okay. Because I've got bots that bet in the background, and I don't sometimes, they're all set to certain things, and sometimes we bet manually and whatever, but I didn't realise that the actual track had been abandoned. But all right, I'll just go over race 1. Okay. Okay. Now the reason why I want to go over race 1 is because I took a slight price drop. All right. And the reason why I took a price drop is because we had to. We didn't have to. Okay, so we had number 1.
You just contradicted yourself.
Well, yeah, I know. Race, we had the number 1 rated at 332. Now the pot was 60%. So there's no movement here. So the first horse to go was number 1. All right. Then number 3, we had it rated at 834. We got $10. Number 4, once that was removed. Okay, now remember this. Once that was removed, all right, we then elevate the subrunner. Now the subrunner was 493. Now the subrunner itself hit 480, 450, 460 across the board. All right, there was 450 there. There was all now there was 455 there. There was 470 here with this bookmaker's sports bet, whatever it was. So price was there, and number 4. Okay, we wanted 490. So had you taken 450 for the 4, 450 for the 5, dropped the 1, kept the 3, you've got an 77% pot. Why wouldn't you not bet? We didn't want the 1. All right, that's why I want to quickly go over this race. All right, and that's where we got the first winner. And that's what I want everybody to get themselves into. This is where you need to be a little bit clever, and you need to start manipulating and working it for you. All right. Now you could have even taken $4 for number 5 and $4 for number 4, and there still would have been enough pot to take. All right, because the trick was the 1. The 1 had never come to price. So then you start manipulating the prices a bit, and then obviously we go to race 2, which was a pass. I sent a message out, I think 10 minutes before the race. I didn't want to take on the 2. It literally was a moral end of discussion. It won. Who cares? But then we go to race 3, all right, and we got a really good fill up, all right. It wasn't like the world's best fill up, but we got a horse rated at 615, okay, and we got price. We got 850. There was $10 on the exchange. Happy days. 2 from 2. Away we go. Perfect. Members, we can sit here all day, and then obviously we did Gatton. Gatton didn't do too well. I had a couple of bets at Strathalbyn. I bought it, and that's that. All right. Gatton was actually terrible. It wasn't terrible, but the sheets were not terrible. Okay. What was terrible was we could not get price. All right. We had the first 3 winners again, and I had to drop them. But I want to go over something there was a scenario here where I had to take a price hit on a runner. Okay. I mean, it was poor there today. As again, it was just the sheets. We just couldn't. Race 1, we had the winner, okay, but there was case for we could have taken 270. There was case there if this thing hit actually 270 with a lot of, but I passed. I'm not interested in them. Had we taken 260 for that runner, okay, there was actually merit for an 83% pot. All right, now the reason why I'm telling you that is because, but I'm not interested in taking 260. It was a 1.92 outlay. I thought no, but there was 260 with a lot of the corporates. All right, because I had looked around. There's 260 there with 6 minutes to go. That's with the New South Wales TAB. All right, now I was going to send a message about this and say, look, I'm going to, again, members, I drop runners. I'm not interested in backing horses at $2.60. They do nothing for me. It won. It killed them. But see, again, there's nothing wrong with the sheets. We just couldn't get price. Okay, and then race 2. All right, I think we got second to a horse. It was a pass race because we couldn't get price. So we were lucky there. But and then we had race 3. Again, we were stiff here because we had the winner, but we couldn't get price. So, again, I could have taken a bit of a hit on the 11, all right, and backed it, but we had a horse rate at $6.89. The best we were going to get was $4.80, $5. There was $5 around. I actually did a live calculator at the time. I was going to send it out at $5, but the $5 was gone and it was too late. No one would have got $5 when I saw it, and I thought, no, let the race go. And then in race 4, okay, now this is a race that I wanted to go over. Now I actually took this thing at 550. All right, it was a sub runner. Now the reason why was because we had to drop the 6. Okay, the 6 was dropped. Now there was 550 for this horse with about 10. Now I was watching this. I had to watch this because these country meetings I watch them intensely because I need to see what's going on with the prices. Now there was 550 for that runner. Okay, and there was still like a 70% pot, and I took 550 for it. All right, but again, I'm not sitting here saying if you didn't take 550, but these country meetings, and I sent out a message about this particular meeting to say, guys, 10, 15 minutes out, especially at these Queensland country meetings, you've really got to watch it and watch it early. Again, we had a horrible day there today. All right, so I'm not sitting here saying, you should have done this, you should have done that. It wasn't the best days. We were stiff in a lot of races. We got second. There was one race in race 5. The horse went sideways. He should have won the race. Okay? He was leading with 100 metres to go, and he veered off, and he should. Then the favourite beat us. I mean, look what was winning there: $1.80, $1.90. There was a blowout race there, which I was scratching my head. But then it was all back to normal. 3 said we got second to this thing. Again, I don't know how we lost that race, but we got pinned on the line again. And then we got, was it race 8? It was just horrible. So, there's a $1.85 favourite then. Again, it was just one of those meetings there that just terrible and bad luck. Okay? And that's what happens sometimes. So, but all in all,
some of them are like watching camels race.
Yeah, well, that's why I make comments about most of them are camels. But all in all, members, it was an absolutely outstanding last 4 or 5 days. I couldn't have been happier for everybody. All right, we had a couple of bumpy rides during the week. I think Wednesday, then all of a sudden come towards the end of the week. All right, we're going to have these days where we might win 50 units one day, and then the very next day we might hand back 30 units to them. But the nature of the way we do the sheets, that we send out so many sheets, it's going to happen. But at the end of the month, if you have made profit, that's all that matters. Really, really good. I'm really happy with the progress that we're making in New Zealand. All in all, members, overall, everywhere, okay? We've had a little bit of a dip in South Africa during the week. All in all, but it's been outstanding. And everybody, congratulations. because if you haven't won at least 50, 60 units this week, please let us know why. Give us some feedback. We're always here to take the feedback. Okay? Thank you very much, members, and I will endeavour to go again next week.